Students, today we'll see unit number 2 of object-oriented programming, in which we are going to study operator overloading. Overloading in C++ allows to specify more than one definition for a function name or an operator in the same scope, which is called as operator overloading and operator overloading respectively. That means we can provide another definition to a function or an operator having same name, which is called as operator overloading. The operator overloading is done on functions also, as well as it can be done on operator also. There are some rules of operator overloading. We can overload only the existing operator. We cannot invent new operator and overload it. Means there are certain operators, only that operators we can overload. We cannot create any new operator and overload it. Overloaded operator must have one operand which is user defined. Basic meaning of an operator cannot be changed. Means we can provide some new function or new work to a operator, but we cannot change the originality of that operator. Syntax rules of operator is same as that of original operator. Operator overloading is not possible with certain operators. This thing we'll see later on also, and the remaining rules we'll see one by one with an example. Here is one simple example of operator overloading. Initially, we have written some header files. After header file, we have created one class which is having name as example. Then we have declared two variables, that is kilometer and meter, which is of integer type, and we have declared it by using access specifier as private. Afterwards, we have written one function having name as example, which is exactly same as the name of class. Therefore, it is called as constructor. We cannot call it as a normal function. In that, it is you can see that the example constructor is a non-parameterized constructor. Therefore, we are giving the values of kilometer and meter as 0. Afterwards, we have written another constructor with name as example, and which is a parameterized constructor where we are passing two parameters, that is int k and int m, and the value of k and m is transferred into kilometer and meter in this constructor. After that, we are using operator overloading. We'll see the syntax further, but as this is a simple example, we'll go through this and then we'll see the syntax of operator overloading. In this syntax of operator overloading, first of all, we have to write the return type, which is void, then operator keyword. Therefore, we have written operator, and the operator which we want to overload, we have to write that. Therefore, we have written is equal to. We want to overload this is equal to, and in that afterwards we have passed one argument, that is constant example ampersand d, where example is the return type, and in this program we have used only integer return type. Therefore, instead of writing integer, we have written example over here. And in this overloading, we are putting the value of meter into meter and kilometer into kilometer by using one variable which is d. Afterwards, we have written one function which is called as display underscore value, which is having return type as void, and in that display we are displaying the values of kilometer and meter by using cout, and afterwards the class example is finished. Now we have written int main, and in main we have written one cout display operator overloading assignment. Afterwards, we have created object of class example, that is D1 and D2, and in D1 we are passing the value, that is 12 and 200, and in object D2 we are passing the value 20 and 750. Afterwards, we have written another line, that is cout. This is first distance, kilometer and meter, and by using the function object d1, we have called one function, that is display underscore value. When we call this d1, which is the object of example class, and we are passing 12 and 200, therefore automatically the parameterized constructor will be called. As we are passing the values 12 and 200, the parameterized constructor example will be called, and the K will contain 1200 and M will contain 200, and this 212 will be transferred into kilometer and meter, and afterwards the display function will display this is first distance, kilometer, 12 meter and 200. Afterwards, in main function, we are calling another cout. This is second distance, kilometer, meter. And the same way we are calling the display function using the object d2. The same thing will happen. The value of 20 and 750 will be displayed in kilometer and meter. Now we are putting the value of d2 into d1 by writing a line in main function, that is d1 is equal to d2. Now the value of d2 will be transferred into d1. Therefore the kilometer will be 20 and meter will be 750. This will be displayed now in the next line, that is cout distance after assigning second distance for first distance, and we'll call d1 by display function by using d1 object. Now we'll see in the output, that is this time the output using d1, it will show kilometer as 20 and 750 meters, which is actually the value of d2. Hence we can see the operator overloading is done by using is equal to operator. Now this slide shows there are some operators which can be overloaded. So there are so many operators which we can overload, and there are some 4 different operators which we cannot overload, which is a dot operator, then pointer, then scope resolution and question mark. These are the 4 operators which we cannot overload. Now we'll see the operator overloading. There are 2 different types of operators overloading we can do, that is unary operator overloading and binary operator overloading. In this unary and binary operator overloading, we'll see in detail. First of all, we'll see the overloading a operator outside a class. This is the syntax of overloading operator outside a class, which has return type, then class name, then scope resolution, then the operator keyword, then the operator which we want to overload, and afterwards in open and close brackets we can pass some arguments. We can see the syntax is very simple of operator overloading. Only the thing, if we are declaring the operator overloading outside the class, we have to write the use scope resolution and write the class name. Therefore, you can see the Operator overloading a operator inside a class. That syntax is very much similar. That is return type, what we have written earlier also, that is return type, then operator keyword, then the operator which we want to overload, and in bracket we can pass some arguments or parameters. We'll see the example of this. First of all, we'll see unary operators. In unary operators, you have only single operand, or you have only one single variable on which we are performing overloading. This is the example of unary operator overloading. After writing the header files, we have declared one class which is unary underscore operator, and in unary underscore operator we have declared three variables which is of integer type, that is a, b and c. Then we have declared one public access specifier, and afterwards we have written one function which is called as set data, which is having return type as void. And in that we are passing some parameters, three different parameters, that is int temp1, temp2 and temp3. All of them are integer type, and in this function we are putting the values of temp1, temp2 and temp3 into a, b and c. Afterwards we have written one more function which is called as display function, which is also having the return type as void, and in that we are displaying the value of a, b and c by using cout. Afterwards we have we are performing the unary operator overloading. The syntax, that is the return type void, then operator keyword. Here we are overloading negative sign, therefore we have written the negative sign over here, and we are not passing any arguments in this. The motive of this program is to convert positive number into negative, and if it is the number entered by the user, if it is negative, it will be converted into positive. The same thing, the negative a will be put into positive a, negative b will be in b, negative c will be put into c variable. And here the class of unary operator is finished. In int main we have written cout, and in cout we have including unary minus operator, unary underscore operator object 1. Here we are creating the object of unary operator. Then we are again calling cout, and afterwards we are calling the set data function by using object 1, which is the object of unary underscore operator, in which we are passing three variables, that is 10, minus 20 and 30, which will be now gone to set data, and from set data the temp1 and temp2 will put into abc. Therefore a will contain 10, b will contain minus 20 and c will contain 30. Now again using the object 1, we are calling the display function, which will display the values of a, b, c. So in the output you can see that is the value of a is 10, b is minus 20 and c is 30. Afterwards we'll call minus obj1, which is we are calling the operator object with negative sign. Therefore all the values will be converted into negative, and the negative value will be converted into positive. And again we are calling object 1 dot display. Now in the output you can see a will contain minus 20, minus 10, b will contain plus 20 and c will contain minus 30. This is the use of unary operator. Thank you.